NNRG.
Okay, with a name like Beachhead 2, I'm gonna guess this is gonna be some kind of war-themed game of some kind, so let's start it up. Got a disk file here, and it's loading, searching for star and loading. Yeah, star, oh, got flashing now. The star represents the first file on disk, I think, in terms of which one to run. Normally star, I believe, just would be everything, but if you're using it with the load command, it's just the first thing it finds. And we got another remember intro here. And you know, looking at the screen here, I just noticed here it says that this game was by Access Software. So I know Access was pretty well known on the PC side of things, but they did actually do Commodore 64 games as well, and I think they did do some other platforms as well. I know the Commodore 64 and DOS PCs for sure, but anyways, let's skip past this. And do we get any documentation this time? We do. Okay. So, The Dictator Strikes Back. July 1947, Beachhead 2 is a true head-to-head two-player multi-sequence game that allows you to play against another person or the computer. Okay, I was about to say, when it said two-player there, I was like, is this going to be two-player only? No, it's got single-player. So you can choose to play either of the following characters. Player 1, the Allied Commander, J.P. Stryker. Profile, youngest man ever to reach rank of Chief Commander, fought courageously during World War II and was awarded the Medal of Honor for heroism. Quickly rose through the ranks during the war and gained respect and admiration from his colleagues for his integrity and leadership abilities. Okay then. And Player 2, the Dictator, known as the Dragon. Evil, bloodthirsty, power-crazed maniac. Fought savagely against the Allies during World War II in the Pacific, disappeared and formed his own renegade army after the war. The Dragon demands, and gets, blind obedience from his followers who worship him as a demigod. Okay. I mean, I think I know what political party they're actually referencing here, but we're not going to get into that. Oh wait, there's actually more about this guy. Apparently, brilliant military tactician who'd been trapped and outnumbered in battle many times, managed to turn the tables on his opponents through cunning and ruthlessness. His current objective is to obliterate the forces that gave his army a stinging defeat and destroyed his fortress. Okay, so we got Sequence 1, Attack. Allied forces have moved inland by helicopter and are ready to begin their assault against the Dragon's Sanctuary to rescue men captured during previous battles. Full weight of the Dictator's arsenal will come to bear on Allied troops in a war of attrition. Okay, and that's interesting. It says Allied controls in Sequence 1, so I'm guessing that depending on if you're playing the Allied forces or the Dictator's forces, it's actually going to be like different gameplay depending. Let me see here. So yeah, I'm reading through this first part of the sequence here. We just got to the Dictator controls, and it says here, well, what I was reading in the first section is that the Allies have to drop paratroopers from a helicopter and then control those paratroopers as they sort of advance past various walls to get to the front of this base area. Whereas the Dictator here, it seems what they're supposed to do is just fire a machine gun, like just turn it left and right and fire at all the advancing troops. So that is interesting. The different sequences are going to have different controls depending on which side you're playing. And there's also Sequence 4, Battle. Before the Dragon invaded the island, the bastion he chose as a sanctuary was an ancient temple where islanders would worship their gods. Underneath the temple is a series of caves. These caves are used in ancient times for combat between natives and ritualistic ceremonies. Commander Stryker has finally tracked down the Dictator in his last hiding place. Far beneath the sanctuary, the stage is set for a showdown between Madman and Liberator. Only one will survive. And apparently this one's got the same controls for both the Ally and the Dictator. Only weapons remaining are heavily sharpened sticks known as puntas. The puntas were used by natives in ceremonies long ago. The natives would stand across from each other and attempt to knock their opponent off his platform by hitting him with a punta. This sounds like American Gladiators. Okay, and it looks like there's also a normal mode of play, a practice mode of play. It says here, in practice mode, you can choose any sequence and try to improve your play before you play all through the game as normal. And in single-player mode, the escape sequence can only be played on the allied side. Well, that's kind of lame. Okay, that's an interesting way of determining which side you're playing on in single player. It says here the joystick in port 1 controls the dictator. The joystick in port 2 controls the allies. If you're playing against the computer, wait until the screen appears, then move the stick with which you wish to play. So basically, the game's going to wait until you move your joystick, and then it's going to automatically detect which joystick that is and determine which side the player wants to play as. It's kind of an interesting way of doing it. The saga continues. And we've got that stencil-like font there. Oh, and there we go, Beachhead 2. And I immediately recognize this music. I don't know what it's called, but I recognize it. Okay then. Written by Roger Carver and Bruce Carver. Well, that's interesting. It's actually showing here that the to select one player and two player, for one player it's F1, F3, F5, for two player it's F2, F4, F6. And that's curious because this is like one of the very few games where it seems like the even numbered F keys are actually going to be a factor. Like on a normal Commodore 64 keyboard, there's only 4 F keys, which are F1, F3, F5, and F7. But on the side of the key is F2, F4, F6, and F8. And you're supposed to hold a modifier to turn those into the even-numbered F keys. I don't know what that modifier is, but because I'm using emulation, I could theoretically just use the actual F2 and F4 keys and whatnot. But that's for 2-player. We don't need 2-player. So let's just do 1-player. We'll do level 1. Let's just do the practice. Because I imagine, given the number of sequences there were, this might be a very long game. So let's just do practice. And we can practice either the attack, rescue, escape, or battle. So let's do attack. And this is the loading sequence we're going through here. The disc light is actually flashing something fierce. Every time the lines are on screen, the light is on, and... oh, that was fast. Okay, so... clearly have the joystick plugged into port 2 right now. So, I guess we just drop guys down and... yeah, that seems to work. The dictator's machine gun is definitely trying to mess things up for me here. So I also read in the instructions that you can only have 6 people effectively behind each wall. So... gonna try and make an effort not to overload these walls here. Let's put 2 over here. And I don't know how I'm going to do this, because... probably just gonna get... yeah, he's probably gonna get shot. Okay. Or, wait. That was... the instructions said I would have 24 troops. And I have now... deposited 24 troops. Like, I mean, yeah, 2 of them got killed, but why hasn't this moved on? Do I have to deposit more? Okay. Like, do I have to, like, fill all of them up first? No? We're still going? Oh, wait a minute. I dropped another trooper off here, and now there's 7 behind there, so you can have more than... 6 behind each wall? Okay, so either whoever put the documentation together messed that up. Okay, yeah, that should have been 8 per wall. And the game just said, follow me, men. Okay, then. So now what's happening is I think we have to advance the troops. So we're selecting where they're going to come from. And then we move them in place. Oh geez, this part's actually difficult. Because, yeah, you don't have a lot of options for trying to get these guys behind the walls. Like, I've got a lot of them behind that one wall, but... otherwise, not really. Okay, and now for the final part, I gotta get them up to the front. And this time, I think I have to actually move them. So we can throw grenades. I don't know what good that actually does me, but... looks like it might slow the machine gun down a bit. I mean, the point here is I just need to get my guys up to the front. So... as long as I keep alternating, this shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, if I was counting correctly, I think I'm almost done here. I think I got, like, just a couple guys left behind that wall. I have to imagine that playing this as the dictator and doing the machine gun stuff towards the allies would probably not be this lopsided, maybe? But it is an interesting concept that the players can play as either side, and depending on which side you're playing on, depends on basically what you're controlling and how the game is playing for you. Okay, there it goes. So, apparently that's a total score. So I guess I didn't do too terribly? Maybe? Okay, so let's try the next sequence. So let's practice the rescue sequence. Now we're still going to be controlling the allies. It's going to do a bit more loading here. Now, I don't think it's going to take long. Last time the loading only took like 10 or 15 seconds, but I think that's because there was like a fast loader put into this by the people who cracked it. Okay, so now I'm controlling the machine gun. Oh, that's very good to know. It's inverted vertical. So you hold down to move the gun up, and you hold up to move the gun down. So yeah, apparently there's a whole lot of things that could be hurting us here. Ah, you got my guy anyways. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that you gotta be worried about. Yeah, so our guys are gonna be coming out one at a time. And that's interesting that if you shoot a door, it actually prompts your guy to start moving faster. It's a little weird how that works, but whatever. Also, I think if you shoot your own guy, that says... and then he starts walking slower. So yeah, you can, you don't have to worry about shooting your own people in this one, thankfully. But it does mean it will slow them down, and then you have to shoot the door again to get them going fast again. I don't quite understand the logic of why shooting a door makes your guys go faster, but... why couldn't I... that was weird. Why couldn't I actually destroy the tank? Like, I mean, I could do it there, but... that was weird. I do like, though, that the game does actually, prevent things from spawning on the... because your people always come from the left side moving to the right. So I do like the fact that the game actually makes an effort not to spawn things too close to the side to the other side that you're walking towards. Jeez, this really goes on for a while, though. Apparently we have got to go through, like, 24 potential hostages to rescue here. Or maybe not. This actually had it set up for, 18, because I lost one and rescued... I didn't get the tank in time. Yeah, this is gonna take a while, so I think I'm just gonna not play through this particular game fully, or this particular mode fully, because, yeah, this would go on for a solid several more minutes. Maybe like 10 minutes more if I have to go through the whole thing. And yeah, that tank went down fast, so yeah, it looks like there's a very specific spot you're supposed to shoot to get the tanks to go down. Okay, so let's back out of that one. Apparently all you have to do is hit the Commodore Control key, and that'll bring you back to the main menu. So, go back to practice, and now let's do the escape. So this is the one where we can't play it as the dictator in single player. So we're not going to be able to choose the difficulty of the different paths or anything. So we're just going to be loading up the hostages and figuring things out. Okay, so push up or down to load chopper. Okay, it looks like we have 20 hostages. So let's just put 5 on each. So I'll put 5 on this one. And then press button to start run. I did that. So I guess we'll... oh, okay. We're just gonna start going. And we do actually have rockets we can shoot, but I don't know the exact logic behind what we can or can't shoot, or how low we have to be, or what, but... Okay, apparently that didn't work. So yeah, the height that your chopper is at does seem to make a big difference here. So yeah, it looks like you have to go under that particular wall. It's otherwise too tall to dodge. Okay, I'm moving up the screen, so I guess I got that particular chopper through. So apparently that was chopper 1? Wait. But I lost chopper 1, and then I had like a second chance? Or maybe because it's in practice mode, it's allowing me to do each chopper multiple times? That might be what's going on. So let's prepare our next chopper. So apparently we've already been down level 2. So we're not going to know if this is level 1 or 3. Oh, that tank was moving real fast, so this is probably level 3. Okay, well, so far so good. Made it through the first wall there. Going forward. If we stay low, we can hit the tanks more effectively. But then we also have to be careful of the fences that come up, because we don't want to run into a fence. And we can try to shoot the tanks on the walls and then go under. We can go under the tank as well if it happens to be in our way, but... Oh, we got blowed up. So, yeah, it seems to allow you to take multiple runs. Multiple attempts at each of these runs when you're playing in the single-player mode, or at least with the practice, I mean. So one thing that's nice is that the game is apparently detecting proper three-dimensionalness, because I was able to fly under a tank shot a little earlier there. So it really does seem to be tracking things or maybe not. That tank was able to hit me fine. Oh, it only gave me like 2 or 3 shots at that one. Oh, and this is the last chopper, so it automatically just put everyone on board? Okay, this is weird. So, the manual said there were 4 choppers and 4 directions to go, but apparently there's only 3? And then earlier it was saying how there were like 24 guys we were going to put down behind 4 different walls, so 6 behind each wall, but it ended up being 32, 8 behind each wall? That's weird. It's like the manual has all the instructions right, just not the numbers. That is very bizarre, and I can't imagine that was like intentionally, or not intentionally, I can't imagine that was accidental on part of the people writing the documentation. And then this is the level 1 run, so everything's moving a lot slower, which means this is probably going to be a lot easier to survive. Actually, I think what's going on with the three-dimensionalness of everything is that when the tanks are shooting their shots at you, they're aimed specifically for whatever altitude you're at. So as long as you're changing altitude as their shots are heading towards you, that's when you're able to fly above or below their shots. If you're out of the same altitude as when they fired their shot, that's when you're gonna have issues. It looks like this particular wall here that had the 2 different entrances, one with the barricade that was going up and down, doesn't appear to have the barricade on level 1. So that's it for that. So I managed to survive the level 1 sequence and the level 2 sequence, but not the level 3 sequence. So... Oh, and it's actually still keeping track of the previous scores. Because, yeah, I didn't finish the rescue game because that would have taken forever. Okay, and all that's left now is to practice the battle mode. So this will be interesting, because this is the one where both the ally player and the dictator are going to be going head-to-head with the same sort of fighting each other with ancient weapons. Oh, and apparently we're going to have rounds as well. So... that's interesting. I'm actually on the right side of the screen. Okay, so apparently I'm able to throw these things, however, at like a slight angle. So yeah, I'm trying to... Okay, got him in a rhythm here. And there we go. Got the dictator down. And... what? Is it suddenly bowling? This looks like a bowling score table. Oh, apparently you have to do multiple rounds of this. Okay, yeah, this is very interesting the way this is going. Like, it seems very heavily balanced in favor of whoever's being the aggressor. Okay, there we go, I got him again. So, yeah, that's... are we seriously gonna go through 9 rounds of this? Really? Whoever gets like 24 knives to the face first is the one who loses or something. But yeah, if you can get some distance going and then get some angled shots in, the AI seems very bad at dealing with that. So yeah, that's 3 rounds. I don't feel like doing this for another 6 rounds, because this is very basic. Yeah, I think I've had enough of this one. And then, of course, the game has the ability to actually play it, 2 players properly, or play through the entire sequence of minigames, and then what you do in each one actually affects the next one. Because, like, if you don't rescue all the hostages, then you're not going to have as many hostages to take out with you in the escape. And so, yeah, so it all kind of ties together in the normal mode. But yeah, that was Beachhead 2, The Dictator Strikes Back. I have no idea what Beachhead 1 plays like, because I've never played it, and I never played Beachhead 2 until now. I mean, it's an interesting concept, having the 2 different styles of gameplay, but allowing both sides of the game to be played. It's kind of like if you were playing like any other game, but you allowed the enemies to be controlled by a second player, right? So this is that same sort of idea, except it's been intentionally designed to have some semblance of balance, so that even if you're playing as the dictator, then you still have a chance to score as well as the allies, or better. Because it seems like the points vary depending on like who's expected to accomplish how much. But I will say that repetition was setting in pretty quickly there. Like, the fact that you had to rescue each of those people one at a time in the rescuing portion of the game, and then when you get to the final battle, it's like a best out of 9 rounds. Like, that's a lot of knives to be taken to the face and somehow not being totally dead in the water. So, the game's got some creative liberties for sure. And as far as a war-themed game goes, it's actually one of the more unusual ones. But in terms of the raw gameplay, it's interesting, but I don't think it's really anything too special. Like, it plays fine at the very least, I'll give it that.